Adam, Brittany, Kaylee, Shayna, and myself chose to do our presentation on reducing the tobacco use in adolescents. Tobacco use in the youth continues to rise. This increase causes tobacco-related health issues earlier in life. This, in turn, causes a surge in expenses across healthcare. Our hope while presenting our topic is to introduce you to the problem as well as motivate you for ideas to combat the issue. We will also present you with the bill that may help in reducing the percentages of tobacco use in our youth and area.
An overview of the problem. In Stark County, the rates of adolescent tobacco use is rising. Adolescents are using cigarettes, e-cigarettes, cigars, smokeless tobacco, hookahs, and pipe tobacco, just to name a few. Recent data has shown that the rates have increased to 23%, and the target is 11.3% according to Healthy People 2030. Currently, 1 in every 5 high school students and 1 in every 20 middle school students are reporting use of e-cigarettes. The CDC reports that 27% of high school students and 7% of middle school students are using tobacco products in the United States currently. This is not just a local problem, this is a nationwide problem. Students are reporting using more and more e-cigarettes, and that is due to the way that the tobacco companies are advertising these e-cigarettes that's geared more towards our youth. Even though the legal age to buy tobacco products is 18, the students are still finding ways to get them. We need to be placing more laws, more regulations, and higher costs on these products to help combat this issue.
This slide is looking into the geographic location of adolescents that are using tobacco use. We are focusing on Stark County, Ohio, and our focus is on the adolescents in this population. This slide is showing how our policy fits into the SIMS model that we learned earlier in the semester, how this policy affects the individual, which would be our adolescents, that one person, and then interpersonal goes on to how it can affect others. Organizational is the banning of tobacco uses in different organizations, and then community is how you're not allowed to smoke on different grounds, depending. Our policy being the ban of tobacco use for adolescents under the age of 21, making the purchase of these products illegal for them.
This is part of an infographic we were asked to complete for adolescent tobacco use. So in the top left-hand corner, we have kind of a target graphic with 11.3 in the middle. This is included because the target for adolescent smoking based on Healthy People 2020 is 11.3%. Sadly, data shows that this number is actually increasing instead of decreasing. With that being said, we can move to the middle, which shows a timeline. This is a timeline of adolescent smoking in previous years. In 2014, that percentage was 13.4%, which was closer to our objective that we want. 2016 was 16%, 2018 was 18.3%, and 2019 rose all the way up to 23%. So instead of having 11.3%, we're actually recently up to 23%, over 10% more than what we'd like to see. In the top right-hand corner, we have a picture of people, and one is highlighted. The darker person stands for and represents a high school student who reports tobacco use. So about 1 in 5 high school students will report tobacco use, whether that's daily tobacco use, whether they've done it one time, whether they do it at certain times. It just represents that cumulative number. I wanted to note here, while I was doing research, it's actually middle school is 1 in 20 middle school students will report tobacco use. We just couldn't fit 20 little people on this slide here. So if we move down into the bottom left-hand corner, we have a little graphic with smoking in the middle, and then there's 5 little arrows. Each of these arrows represents an outcome of smoking. So we have COPD. We see that a lot in the hospital. Of course, lung issues. We have a high risk for lung collapse due to vaping in the young male population specifically. With smoking, we have a risk for cancer, and in this case, especially lung cancer, because smoking does have to do with your lungs. Strokes are of higher risk with smokers. Due to with smoking, it will actually narrow those blood vessels and decrease the oxygen carrying capacity to the brain. And then lastly, we have coronary heart disease that smoking can contribute to. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have long-term health concerns and community effects. These health problems, as stated earlier, can begin in childhood as a start and then turn into COPD, strokes, cancer, and so on when they make it to adulthood, which means that these insurance rates of these people can go up because they are higher risk because of these health conditions, and these increased healthcare costs would be associated with the adolescent generation who are tobacco users.
Resources to Prevent Youth Vaping Act, House of Representatives number 4629. This bill was proposed by Congresswoman Sherry Bustos and was introduced in the House on July 22nd, 2021. This bill proposes to direct the FDA to collect fees on tobacco products, including electronic nicotine systems. The bill also proposes that the tobacco companies will be required to submit specific information regarding their products to the FDA.
Okay, so the importance is also knowing how this bill will contribute to our issue being youth vaping. This will contribute to deter adolescents from buying and using these products by placing the higher fees and these regulations on the tobacco companies, because this will result in the tobacco companies having to raise the price of their products to compensate for this increase in fees, because they need to make money as well as the companies who distribute. So it's one big chain reaction. You increase it in one place, it's going to increase all the way down to the consumer. This increase in fees will make it harder for youth to purchase the products, because they're not going to have as much of access due to not having the funds to afford it, because adolescents at this age they are in a way on a fixed income, whether that be allowance or having a part-time job while being in school. They're not going to have all the money in the world to spend on tobacco. And the increase in these fees placed by the FDA will also contribute to the government funding.
Our person of influence is Congressman Bob Gibbs of the Ohio 7th District. Mr. Gibbs was chosen to receive our letter because he represents the 7th District, which is where many of us make our homes in Stark County, Ohio. We as a group support this pending legislation because the increase in price of tobacco products should deter adolescents from purchasing them. This in turn will reduce hospital admissions for tobacco-associated problems and rising costs throughout the entire healthcare system.
In conclusion, we hope that we have brought awareness to the problem of our youth consuming and purchasing tobacco products, which is leading to increased diseases associated with tobacco use, which then leads to increased healthcare costs. We have introduced a bill to you that could possibly help reduce the strain on the healthcare system from the tobacco-related illnesses by increasing the costs of the tobacco products and making it more difficult for our youth to purchase and consume these products. We would also like the support from Congressman Bob Gibbs because he represents Stark County, and our target area is Stark County. And Bob Gibbs is also a big advocate for our youth. And we hope that you enjoyed our presentation, and thank you for taking the time to watch it.